something for a conference on opera heroines and divas. And the man who commissioned me had this wonderful sense of humor, and so he let me have my sense of humor. And so he gave me Kobe's Opera Guide, which is 1,400 pages. And I went to the music library at the University of Connecticut and spent 2 weeks, and I listened to 30 operas. And I came up with this. And because the man who commissioned me, whose name is Leon Major, who's a very wonderful director of opera, because of his sense of humor, he let me get away with this. And it was produced at the University of Maryland, and it was produced at the Maryland Center for the Performing Arts about 6 times, and then it went on the shelf. And then about 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I wrote a play called Charm that was at the Salt Lake Acting Company, and Michelle Peterson went there. And I mentioned to her that I had this piece called Fatal Song, and I gave it to her. And here we are, almost 4 years later. I have to say that when you're trying to describe to an opera producer that you have this piece in which all these characters come together, and there's this malevolent spirit that's there, and you start talking about it and you watch their eyes glaze over. So it was wonderful to meet Michelle Peterson, and her eyes didn't glaze over. So here we are.
Absolutely. So you heard of music from a lot of different operas tonight. Jerry, how did that happen?
Well, when we received the script is all just words. There's no music. So literally, Kathleen would write, Cunegonde sings Glitter and Be Gay. And then there would be a line that would say, the music transitions to Magic Flute. Or in the Manon section, the music transitions from Puccini's, or from Massenet's Manon to Puccini's Manon Lescaut. Well, all of those operas are about 3.5 hours long. So we had so much fun in rehearsal deciding what piece of the opera actually captured the mood the best. And another idea that I had in rehearsal was, what would it be like if we actually underscored every diva's death with the actual music that they die to in the opera? So Desdemona, that's the music she dies to. Lucia, that's where she goes crazy. Let's see, Giulietta, she actually does drift off during the barcarolle. So it was so much fun actually going through these incredible scores. I had a big table with all my scores on them, and I would say, wait, just a minute, let's try this, let's try this. So it was the most creative process, and such a delight to work with Kathleen, who really encouraged that, and also with our amazing director, Jim Christian, who is nothing if not collaborative. So it was a great experience.
Yeah.
Great experience. For the singers, you know, this is a very non-traditional piece, and we did it in a very non-traditional manner. What was either the scariest or most exciting moment that you had tonight? Megan?
Well, for me, scariest and exciting would be the fact that I have to cough a whole lot before I sing my aria, which isn't something that singers generally try to do. And so it was a little worrisome for me, but I, with a lot of help from Jim and Kathleen, was so incredibly encouraging during the rehearsal process, and I was able to find a way that was vocally healthy for me to cough and then be able to sing Violetta's aria after all of the coughing. So that is always a little scary, but I felt pretty good about it tonight, so yeah, that's good for me.
I think, the fun, what I really love, and I said this last night, and I can't help but say it over and over again because I'm going to really miss it once we leave, is the camaraderie and the fun that it's been working with this cast, and especially these girls. It's just so fun to sit back in the dressing rooms beforehand, and, we just go through things and try and the line readings, the dialogue, we don't always get to do as often being opera singers. And so it's just fun to be out here and create and feed off one another's energy and to share that experience, especially with these great girls.
I think the scariest moment for me tonight was when I switch from being Lucia and become Manon, and I have to, the shawl has a tie on it, and they tried before doing what's that called, a snap, a thing. A hook, yeah, anyway. But it came undone, so it didn't work, so they did a tie. So I'm back there, away, facing away from the audience going, come on, Selena, you could tie, you could do it, you could tie this. But I got it tied, and I think the funnest thing for me is I love being crazy. Maybe because it's kind of close to home.
There's always something scary that happens in the whole Glitter and Be Gay Queen of the Night marathon that I do. And today I was sitting there looking at Selena like she was a nutcase during the doll, but really inside thinking, wow, those are the best high notes I've ever heard. I hope that I can sing them after her. And then today, I guess I didn't close the trunk all the way, and then I stepped on it, and it went, so I was like, but, so after that, it was just a balancing act, really, but it was, there's always something, but I did not break a single prop tonight, so I'm giving myself a pat on the back of that.
Well, fortunately for me, fear is what I'm all about, and I feel it constantly because I have greater opportunity to mess up other people than normal. I don't do that much for myself, but I can. If I mess up, I can mess up these people really well. So it makes me nervous, but it's always exciting when I get to the point where I didn't. And the only thing I had today was a similar issue. I think tying tonight was not very good. When I was putting on the cape, I was like, I think they left off a hanger. But I got it on. It all worked out. It was myself, so I wasn't too nervous.
Do those shoes do anything for you?
It's all about the shoes. Every ounce of character comes from the shoes.
You know, for me, I love doing Massenet's Manon. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time singing with Selena. For me, one of the scariest parts is going off stage and hanging out for about 45 minutes or an hour and then having to come back on to sing those really quiet legato phrases that we have to do there at the end. It's so beautiful, and you don't want to mess it up with a really loud sound or anything like that. So I would say that's one of my scariest parts.
Last night, he said his favorite part is the kiss that we do.
How quickly he forgot.
Apparently he changed his mind.
Just like Manon.
Different. You got one more night. You better make it good.
That's great. So who's got a question out here for any of these people? Oh, come on. John.
How long did you have to practice to get all these songs put together, and have each of you sung the songs that you performed tonight previously?
That's a great question. Each one of the people was, Christopher hired the cast based on the assignment of the roles and the arias, but everyone learned new things. Selena had never sung Olympia, the doll song before. Jennifer had never sung Mimi before. I don't know. Did you?
Neither.
What?
I had not sung either of the arias. So they were both new for me.
Brand new.
Yeah. So,
Good to have in the-
but we only had, we started staging a week ago Monday. So Jim Christian came in and he set the whole show in about 2.5 days. And the ladies showed up with their music learned and the lines learned. And then Jim put it on its feet, and then we polished after that. But that's very quickly to put together a show.
There.
All wigs. Mm-hmm. And aren't they lovely? Our lovely, is it Yancey?
Yeah,
It was Yancey. We actually struggled over this one quite a bit. It's one thing when you put ladies in wigs and you have a orchestra in between and the distance of a normal theater, but when you're this close, you can start seeing things. And so we really struggled whether or not to do wigs or not. And Yancey, our wig and makeup designer, promised me it would look as natural as these do here. So we ended up going this direction. But just one of those little things you have probably way too much conversation about in the process. So, good question.
That's real.
Bob.
I have a question about, some of you have done these roles before, because Selena, you did Fiordiligi. I think that was your first role, wasn't it?
I think that's right, it was.
Yeah. Did the process of this show change your opinions about the operas themselves, perhaps the characters that you've played? I mean, has this process opened your mind or changed your course of thinking at all?
I'll start, and if anyone else wants to add. The reason he says that is because he was my opera director up at University of Utah, and that was the first role I ever did, was Fiordiligi. And I have to say, I took it way more serious back then. And now doing it here, I'm like, oh yeah, these girls are really like, they're titsas. Like, the fact that they would, come up, do this, thinking like, yeah, let's switch boyfriends, that'll be like so fun. So yeah, it has changed.
The Pamina has been fun for me because I'm able to really not have to keep it as reined in necessarily as you would. So it's fun to just let it all hang out.
That's also, I think, the joy of the piece, though, is that Kathleen actually isn't afraid to take opera and go, we can actually laugh at this, because it is kind of ridiculous, Why do those sopranos die at the end of every evening, And why are there two different men-alls? So she actually gives us permission to play.
Anybody else have a response to that?
Well, I certainly have a new respect for people who do Queen of the Night, because they only have two shots really, two arias, and they're really exposed, and if they're off even a little bit, it affects their performance a lot. And so I think there's a lot of pressure for that role, and so now every time I ever see someone do Queen of the Night, I'll pray for them, and then just probably listen I can't believe you're doing that. It's awesome.
All right. Sir?
Is there a future for this in other cities, other locations, this play?
Gosh, I hope so.
Well, do you know of anything?
I don't know. I don't know of any at the moment.
Well, I would be in favor of it.
Oh, thank you.
Great.
Oh, that's so nice.
So nice.
Spread the word.
Yeah.
We will tour for the right price. All right, other comments or questions? Yes.
Are you going to sell the music? Are you going to make a video or anything, a CD?
You saw it tonight. It is ephemeral. The joy of live performance, you got to see it.
This is one of those pieces I just don't think would translate on a recording. I don't know what you guys feel. I think it's the in the moment spontaneity of it that's really one of the joys of the piece. So I don't know that it would go.
Well, the piano business was wonderful.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. When Christopher called and asked me if I would work on this project, and they sent me the script and I read through it and I was like, this is going to be a blast, because there's kind of no wrong answers in terms of the underscoring. I really approached it like it was a film score, and as I said, Kathleen was completely supportive and we had a great time. So thank you.
All right. Who else has got a question? So, here. Yeah.
I enjoy so much the way that you performs the piano and the concert and the symphony. So much. And he knows how much I love you. And he say, I have a surprise for you. Okay? So you say, let's wait. You can see later in the piano. Okay? And I was doing my things, and, they announced your name, but I was busy. And he said, look, who is in the piano? I said, oh, my. So I enjoy so much, but I can notice that usually was living in New York. So now you are falling in love of Soleil City?
No, I still live in New York, but I kind of don't live any place, I guess. I pay a mortgage in New York, but I get to come out here a lot, which is just a joy. I love coming out here. So,
You,
thank you. That's so generous.
you made this Soleil City, a small city, the biggest in the performance of the symphony and concerts and everything. Thank you so much having you here.